The dot plot shows the favorite sports to play according to some middle school students chosen at random. So we have favorite sports to play here on this dot plot. And we'll go down to the question. Which statement is true according to the information in the dot plot? So another one where we need to read the different statements and see which one is true. Important to read this carefully. Which statement is true according to the information in the dot plot? So I'm going to shrink this down and give us some space here. We're going to start with A, and we're going to look at this. First thing actually that I always want to do is we'll draw our little our triangle for percent part whole. Make sure you have this on your paper, and we'll put our little P here for part, percent there, whole there, put our division sign, if I can fit it in right there, and then we know we put multiplication right there. Alright, so we total these up would be the best thing to do, the total of all the dots in the dot plot. I counted these up previously, and if we do this accurately, you should get 50. There should be 50 whole dots in the dot plot. So that gives us our whole, and it looks like here on a lot of these we're going to need the percent, or we're going to need a fraction, almost a ratio for these. So A, let's read A. A says less than 1/5 of students chose soccer and hockey as their favorite sport to play. Less than 1/5. Well, let's count up those that chose soccer and hockey. Soccer looks like it is 6 students that did that. We look at hockey, that looks like 4 over here. So that's going to get us a part of 10. So if we cover the percent, it's going to be 10 divided by 50 if we wanted a percent. We really just can turn this into a fraction because it says less than 1/5. And so if we have 10 over 50, and a lot of y'all can see this, that actually simplifies to 1/5, which is not less than 1/5, it is 1/5. So if we look at this less part, that doesn't work for us, okay? So we're going to cancel out A. A is not going to be the best choice, and we're going to move on down the list here. B says more than 25% of the students chose football and tennis as their favorite sport to play. Well, let's see. Football, I believe, is 10 when we count them all up. And then we go over to tennis, it is 3, which gives us a grand total of 13. And that gives us 13 out of 50. And we need to turn it into a percent, actually, this, more than 25%. So we can put the part inside, 13, and I always make it 13.0, and divide by the whole, divide by 50. It should be pretty straightforward here. 50 does not go into 1, does not go into 13. It does go into 132 times. 50 times 2 is 100. You'll get 30, and then we can always bring down this 0. 50 goes into 300 evenly 6 times. It gets us 300. And I get 0.26, but really if we move this over, it's 26%, which if you read this, more than 25% of students chose football and tennis as their favorite sport. That looks like a pretty good answer right there for B. I'll look at C and D real quick, but B works out so far, and I like it. C says, get rid of this right over here. Exactly 2/5 of students chose basketball, golf, and track as their favorite sport to play. Exactly 2/5. Well, let's see. We need basketball, golf, and track. Basketball is 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 8. Golf is 5. And track is 2. And when we look at this, 8 and 5 gets you 13, and 2 is 15 over 50. And it says 2/5. And so, oh, you know what? I made a mistake right there. I think I counted up baseball. We don't need baseball, we need basketball. Let's make sure you count these up right. Basketball is 12. That helps us. So 12 and 5 is 17 plus 2 is 19. Glad I caught that. So 19 over 50. And we'd see if that can simplify to 2/5. And really, one thing I'll tell you, 2/5 is the same as if we had 50 as a denominator. 5 goes into that 10 times. So you would do the same up top. 2 times 10 is actually 20 50ths. If we wanted exactly 2/5, we'd need 20 50ths, and we don't. We have 19 50ths. So C is not going to work either for the answer choice. It still looks like B is the best. Finally, on D, exactly 15% of the students chose baseball as their favorite sport. Well, baseball I accidentally counted up a second ago, but we know that's 8. So that means 8 out of 50 here. And we turn into a percent. We can say 8.0 divide by 50. We know 50 doesn't go into 8, goes into 80 one time. It's 50. It's 30. Bring down a 0. Here you are, 300 again. But it actually goes in 6 times, which when we zero this out, we'll get 16% and not 15%. So B is going to be the best answer here for this dot plot question.